Alright guys, second game from World's Playing Day 2. I think that I saw this game, but I didn't saw the entirety of the game, so just like the early game. Personally, I think this game is going to be um, really hard to predict in terms of, like, this is a game that you don't know what to expect for today. I think that yesterday, the game like this was G-Rex against Gambit. Today is Supermassive against G2. Sure, probably G2 has the edge still, but you want to see how Supermassive pans out against G2. You want to be where they are and if they can actually contest them or be something. Here is the best of one. So if they can actually take games from G2 or have them have a rough time, that's like really important to know because that's what we don't really know from these two teams. Um, I think that's the thing with this game that you don't really know how Supermassive or where they are compared to G2. So there's that. The draft was, I think they banned Zoe and Trundle. Okay, that's pretty normal. They banned Saya and Jin. Both are okay matchups against Reverse. Saya is really good actually. They got Tristana. So Tristana is actually a really good lane. I think that level 3 they're really good as a duo. They have a lot of kill potential level 3, but at level 1 they are really terrible. Level 1 they're bad. If you do a crazy strat that it's a really aggressive late in bait bottom, Tristana Alistar doesn't help at all. Like, let's say Varus is cornered in Tompkins, walk into your jungle at level 1, around the 127 minutes, 1-0 red spawns. So they can freely abuse that because Alistar Tristana aren't that good level 1. The good thing about Alistar is when you can get the Q flash on multiple members, but even then, it's not as good because that's expected. That because the other team would expect that. That's the only thing that you can do as Alistar level 1, basically. Tristana is okay-ish, but just not. If she starts jump, which she can be good, but not good enough. So Varus is just E at level 1 is just so good, and Tompkins with passive and Q is just insane. Q has really low cooldown, so you get a lot of Qs. Level 1 looks like a pause. I remember this. Let me see if I can get. Okay, the game started. Doran Blade on Varus, I think that's correct. You're not pushing lane bottom, at least in the early game against Tristana. Zulian, I liked compositions with Zulian and Tamkench, or like double support compositions, as long as the support is Tamkench. I think that's really good. Um, yeah, this is first Supermassive Worlds. I think they have been at MSI a lot of the time, but they haven't been to Worlds ever. Um, so jungle padding. Olaf did wolves into blue. That's interesting. It's probably because of the HP, right? I think that you want to get low with Olaf, and that's why you start wolves. I think that's the reasoning. Scarlet just did red raptors, which is okay. I haven't seen Skarner that much, but recently we have seen how strong the champion is, and I generally think that the champion is just going to be played more and more. I think the champion is really good, and Olaf is basically the only thing that's stopping him from being played every game. I think that Olaf is a good matchup into Skarner, but it's not that it's impossible for the Skarner to be played into that matchup. So his corner already got the crab. He did double camps on top. Olaf did his entire blue side jungle and the crab. So he's now going to his red side jungle. This means that if he ever ganks or the next couple of minutes, he will have red buff for for most of that time, because he's even leaving that after the Raptors. So which is correct because you want to do the Raptor. You want to do do them in order so that camps spawn quicker and that it doesn't conflict with your route. I think that you're walking in a straight line with doing all the camps that you see basically. So in front of you. So now we're seeing turning what did at level 2. Once you're level 3, they can contest more the push. I think that they already lost significant amounts of. Oh, sorry. I've seen the answer with one pot, and I always forget that now you only have 2 pots. So yeah, having one pot means that you only use one. All of these full clear. Skarnet has to go top and then the full clear, which is fine because as a Predator jungler, you can skip golems, recall, then do golems because it doesn't change the pushes that you're going to do. Basically, you can see junglers, same items. Jankos has 2 pings. That's the only difference. So, yeah, not all lean was Snowflower didn't use exhaust, and what did use ignite. Kieran never jumped in because he had exhaust. That was just okay. I think that, yeah, that was fine. That can help them come back into this lane. Jack is going coming bottom. I remember him ganking this lane. I think that the gank was fine, but once they dove, when they dove was really good. Here they flash for it. They got double flashes, so that was really good. They only used 1 flash to get 2, so. And Alistair has Hex Flash, so good luck with that. Hex Flash is actually really good in lane. Like, if you can just Hex Flash spamming lane, even in the lane, even if you're not doing anything at all, if you're just charging the Hex Flash, it puts a lot of pressure on the various champions here. I think that's really good because those do not have Flash. And if in having Hex Flash against no flashes is actually really important for the lane when you're charging the Hex Flash. Uh, yeah. So yeah, now um, we see second crab spawn bottom. Um, looks like Jankus wants to contest it, but Perks is at base, so that could be something. Okay. Supermassive's bottom lane is also at base, so that means that Mr. Jankus gets the crab, so that's really good for G2. I think that um, Olaf always wins against the Skarnet at least early, and having like the access to the craft is really important. Contesting every craft is important because you want to match the other jungler as the winning end of the jungle of the matchup. Craig's running GBM here. He's slowly, silently getting ahead in CS. Yeah, G2 only lane that is not winning in CS is bottom, and they're actually quite behind. That it's I was going to say that they're only a few CS behind, but Bears had a big wave there, so they're actually behind 9 minions, which is more than a wave. So um, okay, I think Bears with Dam Scepter has a huge advantage now in the lane. He can get from overhead now because Tristana only has Longsword. Um, Mm, Olaf is sleeping baiting top. He left a ping. These were the pings that I was talking about last game, guys. The pings that you can see inside both jungles are deep pings from the enemy, and those pings are just for the jungle. You leave those pings whenever you have tempo, and as a jungler, having tempo means that if you remember here, okay, what happened? If you remember earlier, Skarner here, Stomach, skip his golems in his first clear, which means that Jankos is gonna be doing his golems, right? So when Jankos is doing golems, Stomach recall, and then he walked to his golems. After Jankos recalls and then walks into his jungle again, Stomach is doing the golems, right? And after too much those golems, he can then ward like this deep because he knows Jankos is gonna recall after his camp, or he can expect that to be happening. As a jungler, you have to keep track of that. How much tempo do you have, and if you have any tempo. Once you start leaving wards, it gets easier because you know exactly when the enemy jungler is recalling, and when you are on the map, and when you aren't, and when the enemy jungler is on the map, and when the enemy jungler isn't. So it's really important to track those things because people track the jungler very well. You can track the jungler very well, but something that does not happen that often is, yeah, I'm tracking the jungler, but when are you leaving wards? Are you leaving wards when they are there and they see you place wards like this? Here, Janko saw the ward, so he can outpink if he has it and clear that ward, which is relevant. And if you are leaving wards where you're not being seen and you have information that the enemy jungler is there, and you're not showing, that's just huge, 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 huge. It's a huge difference of just tracking a jungler and tracking a jungler without being noticed, that without them knowing that you're tracking them, basically. Here we'll see a dive soon, I think. Um, they all flash for the champions basically, and Zygat almost kills like two people there. Um, I'll just skip that until that point. Okay, Fabulous was roaming down. Burks just ults away. Okay, here is like the, yeah, here it is. Alistair starts with E, so then W, then Q. That was really well executed. Uh, he's he got value out of his W. Here's what I don't get. Like here then ults and then gets aggro. Minions were going to die, so he probably still gets aggro. And yeah, side note got two flashes with just his ultimate, so that's really good. Still, despite Snowflower dying there, so even though that happened, uh, that was really good. So, okay, Sunflower TPs. And now with Tempo, remember we talked about Tempo, they're doing the Drake. Why? Because they killed the Tamkinch TP to lane, so now there are 4 people from Supermassive in the map, while G2 has 3 people that are really low that already used their cooldowns and their abilities here. So after the split is over, you can call this like G2's tempo, and after G2's tempo ends, or display ends, now it will be turned for Supermassive to do something on the map, which is the Drake here. They get the ocean, basically. So now Supermassive has the ocean. Um, we see Olaf starting Peril. I think that he gets spotted by the by the 2 wards, in fact. I think yeah, you should always match because the other guy will be tanking the Herald, so you can always scare them away. That's really good. Also, Snowflower and various side note were roaming, so that scared Yankees away. Okay. Okay, waiting. I want to see how. Okay, deep in bait topside and Tom Kitch is salting to punish this. They're looking to. I like this move from Supermassive, but since I don't like that G2 is baiting against the Tankkench, that is always rotating. We already saw the Tankkench moving quite a few times. So they shouldn't deep in bait top like that. Or I like when Supermassive is like trying to punish that, but they could have probably executed better. I don't know how exactly because the Tankkench was behind them, but the thing is that they couldn't corner them. Or maybe they should have looked to dive them because they left bottom and they didn't get anything. I think G2 was very deep and they couldn't catch them. I think that Jankos was really deep and they couldn't catch him, so maybe they didn't corner him enough. with the time control team. But yeah, G2 got bottom turret for free. Well, from that play, basically on top. So Tristana's still behind in minions by a quite good margin, but that gets matched by the CS from Cillian, I guess. Okay. Now Supermassive is swapping. Drake is not on the map yet. It's not going to spawn anytime soon, so they're swapping here. They already show an award. G2's bottom lane is also top side, so everyone's top side. Let's see if one of the top laners hides. Some of the top laners like to stay here. Like both top laners are here, because you can make a play while the bot lane isn't like the bot wave isn't there yet. Like they can wave for a long time here on this side and then catch bottom. Wonder is just staying with Fat Fabulous. He's probably going to go back bottom and fix the wave eventually. But they have so much time. Like they can stay here forever until the wave is in their on their turrets basically. Ooh, nice trade. I think that yeah, that was really close for Kieran. He used heal also. Girls didn't even ult, so that's huge. Wonder recalled, which means okay, Perks went in. That was a really nice timing because by doing that play, you prevent Supermassive from starting the Herald right away since they already had Chunk Tiernan. So by going in the 1v1 mid, you kind of stop the Herald a bit. Um, and give some Wonder some time because Wonder was recalling and Kiernan was forced back to base when he was very low. So that play kind of saved G2 from losing Herald. You cannot do much for the turret damage top. So okay, we see. Okay, top laners are bottom now. Um, let's see. Snowflower has the swiftness boots. I don't think that can be good against the Olaf. They used to be a thing also back in the day, but I don't know what else it does for you. I guess it helps against the Gunblade active, helps against the Blue Smite from Olaf. Is it as slow? I think that it steals movement speed. It's not quite as slow. The Blue Smite. Okay, they're going in mid. They knew Supermassive was doing Herald, so they're looking for this play. Supermassive decided to stop doing Herald to collapse and join the fight and be able to contest the fight. Tristana isn't here, so this was basically a gank, and then it extended so much that Tristana eventually wasn't there, and it was a fight, right? Right? When a gank extends this much and your AD carry isn't there, it happens. It looks like this. It's so problematic because you don't have a DPS or you don't have something that's doing damage over time, basically, doing that skirmish, that fight. So yeah, it had to be the one shot and then back away. It's really hard to do that against Cillian Tompkins, though. You cannot one shot a Cillian Tompkins, unless you perfectly CC chain so that Cillian cannot ulti, maybe. Like here, they're already committed, and Kiernan isn't there, and he doesn't have to be neither. So Supermassive is actually are actually matching very well, you two. So I'm not that surprised because I genuinely think that Supermassive and the TCL as a region is a very strong region and is one of those wildcards that you never know when they're gonna reach the major region, but you know that that's gonna happen. You bet that that is gonna happen. I think that Vietnam was weaker. I think that they eventually became really good and they matched the major regions. But with the TCL, you don't really know when that is going to happen, but you know that it's going to happen. Like they're, that region is really good. I actually thought Royal Bandits were the ones that were going to win, but it was actually Supermassive the ones who won. We see a very early Hexdrinker on theirs, and I like that a lot because they have the composition is about protecting him, and yeah, he missed some damage by doing that, but the good thing is that Akali is the only thing that can go on you and kill you. And like sometimes Akali is just too strong as a champion. Sometimes you just get Akali. Basically, Akali jumps into you and she wants to one shots you with the second R. Basically, that's the one that deals a lot of. That's the one that is the execute. So second R deals a lot of damage sometimes. I feel like personally, I feel like that's the thing that you have to nerf of the champion. And the W. I think the W is so much like it's too much. This smoke screen thing, it's very strong. So G2 doesn't have a mid lane turret, which is actually really important. Okay, G2 is fighting with now they have Kernard here, so this is like a gank. They have the numbers advantage because Varus was bottom, but if this fight extends like it looks like it's extending, Varus can approach the fight or eventually walk. Yeah, it's really hard against Supermassive because their champions make a lot of time, and making a lot of time is valuable. That's what I always say. Like, if you have a composition that makes enough time, you can always have your team come and help you out, and you can make enough time for the fight to be, you know, good for you. So what we are seeing is a really good game from Supermassive. I don't think Supermassive is cheesing or like going over aggressive to like get these leads or like or like come ahead from YouTube. I think they're just playing better. I think that they're playing on standard, normal, calm, collected, and I think that that's how they're beating YouTube. Yesterday we saw Detonation Focus Me almost beating C9, and um, I honestly think that they were playing really aggro, they were playing really smart, and it was kind of like the same thing, but more of the aggro play there. I think that wildcard teams have just gotten better over the years, and I think that it's not like oh they cheese their way to the victory or they're they're winning just because of X or Y. I think that some of them are so aggro, so true to their identity, like of being really aggressive as a team, but at the same time, I think they were just playing standard, and their macro has shown to be better the last couple of years. What Supermassive is doing is really impressive. I think that they're just playing normally, and they're just making G2 lose a lot of turrets, so that's really impressive. Um, Okay, we see them doing great with two people. This is the thing that I like a lot. In the mid game, you should always do it with one or two people. If the enemy team is not contesting, you match with the other three, the rest of the team, the enemy team. Because if you're not matching with your other three, the enemy team, basically what happens is that you lose all the control in the other side. And even though here, Supermassive doesn't have that much control topside yet, they have some ping wards, but you don't want G2 to establish vision top. You don't want to face check them. You don't even want to try that. So that what you do is you send two people to Drake, and then G2 doesn't get the chance because if you send all five to Drake, then G2 is going to see that, and then they're gonna take control of top side. They're gonna leave a lot of wards, and you don't want to deal with that. Honestly, you don't want to give them a chance to control a side. You don't want to give G2 one side basically on the map. Now that you're this ahead. Okay, I need some more water. I'll just wait. Um, so now G2 got rid of the pink at the bear pit, but Supermassive with the hover they did all bottom, like they all kind of hover bottom. Janko's clear one of two wards, but that allowed Cyan to take turret. That allowed Cyan to push Orn back, to push Wonder back. But Fabulous got a turn now, or it's going to get that soon. I think that what Supermassive did is systematically they're just getting every turret, every objective they want, and they're not giving you to any objective now that they have the lead. So that's really good. Okay. Okay. I now Varus is really strong because he did the Hex Shrinker earlier, but now he has his two item power spec basically, and he has two really good defensive items. He has Ninja Daves and Hex Shrinker, which makes him really tanky. Now that he has Cillian, Amkench, like he has a lot of things to survive. His build is really good to survive too. He has the lifesteal even from the Blade of Evergreen King and the slow. He has so many ways to survive. He even has the Knight's Vow from so much. So I think Supermassive has a lot of things going for them right now. G2 still have Tristana and Ornn. I think those champions are really good the longer the game goes, but Zillion Varus is also really good. Um, let's see how the round setup goes. I think I want to know if top laners will ever go back to bot or if they will get vision first, how they do the steps. Here we saw Fabulous just leave. Fabulous already helped his team get a lot of wards as Baron. It's now on you to take those wards once they see Zion bot. They use this time to they use this opportunity to recall members of Supermassive. They're now just yeah they have sides pushing now. They're pushing to the both side lanes, and the rest of the team just recalls. So that's really good because they still have the vision. I like that a lot. What's Fabulous did, grouping for vision and then leaving to catch your wave. That's really good because you never know when your team is gonna get vision without you as a top laner, and the enemy Ornn is just there randomly, and then Ornn ults and kills everyone or gets killed, and you want to make sure that your team gets a vision first. And if that ever happens, the Ornn thing, you at least are going to see Ornn on your wards, and if that is your fault because you saw Ornn, you know, that kind of thing. They started Baron. Zion is already there. These are the things that I like. They got the vision on the first time Zion grouped. The second time Zion grouped, they started the Baron, and now they're in a really good position to engage on and turn on G2. I think that what they just did was really good macro. I think that you first start Baron, first get vision with your top laner, group with your tank. Make sure that it's safe, everything is fine. Then your top laner goes back and catches the wave bottom. Then once he gets a push again, you start Baron and then you turn on them. And that's really, really good. So, very well played. I think that they are playing really well. Sorry, I'm just a big Wildcard fan. When Wildcards are doing this great, I feel really great because I know how far they come, basically. We've seen now that with many teams how much they grown. Here they started Baron again, and they're turning again. They're half and half. I don't really like that much. They could just have people zone Jenkos and just get the Baron. Yeah, like this. Like they now have Baron, so the upset can really be. I think is it really an upset? I think that Super TCL has beat a lot of the LCS teams already. I remember the one where CLG went to the final. Supermassive beat both G2 and CLG. I don't remember if they beat anyone else, but yeah. No, I think that. Oh my god. Yeah, they were at Baron, right? Oh my god. Spoilers. No one saw that. Yeah, here they just recall from Baron. No. Okay, here it's the Baron. Okay. Sorry. Um. Okay. Not much of a spoiler. That was the next thing coming up. So they did it Infernal Spawn. It's really good. Supermassive are playing two lanes. Similar to yesterday, we're seeing the top laner mid and 4 bot. I think the 4-1 where your one is middle instead of on side lane, it's way better sometimes because sometimes you just have these huge waves stacked and you want to have multiple members defending that big wave rather than the top laner only. Like here you see 4 members of Supermassive utilizing the wave and zoning G2 out because even the top laner is coming now. Even they're 5 manning now. They're sending 5 members here because for a short amount of time you'll have this huge wave, and if you're able to utilize that and zone them out, you really put the pressure on them to engage, else the big wave is gonna take every turn. Like how much time did they invest into this push? Sure, sometimes you say, oh, we play one lane, you're airman, that's really bad, but here, how much time did they waste it doing this? They didn't waste much time at all, and they got the 2 turrets and the inhibitor really fast because they play out the big wave there. They play around that, and that was like really good macro again. I think that teams should be more interested on the side waves once they have burn, and if they have this huge of a wave or a wave stacking in a side lane, you should play 4-1 with the one middle so that you can defend the wave and zone the enemy team. Ornn had to ult there reactively, not proactively, so now there's no threat of the Ornn ultimate for a while, and they can just take the third inhibitor. That seems good to me at least. Yeah. Yeah. I think that this is so over. I think that this is a really good start for this group. I think this group is just got really spicy, and I cannot wait to see Ascension. I think Ascension can win against these teams, and I think that Ascension can beat both of these teams and they can surprise them. I think that Ascension is when we played against it, they were really aggressive, really crazy, and I think they're really good. Uh, they just needed a little bit more cohesion. I think like when or everyone on the same page basically on their team. I think that sometimes that lacked, but I think that they're a really good team. I don't know how their match against it. They're definitely worse than these two teams, but they can definitely beat them and surprise them. So that was the day two of playing. So see you in the next one.